Let's go to Bubba O'Neill now from CHCHTV Hamilton. He's a longtime friend of ours. And how you doing, Bubba? Good to see you, my friend.
Oh, Rod, it's a pleasure. This is like a lifelong dream. I can die and go away now. This is okay. I finally made it out west. Before you get going, I got to say this. I mean, I haven't been out to Regina since the Bulldogs and the 100th MasterCard Memorial Cup, which was amazing. The Regina Pats beat us in the semifinal. Max Paddock was unbelievable. I think he made like 50 saves in that game. I still think the Bulldogs should have gotten to the final. But, again, that was 2 years ago. But I will say this. One of the nicest areas I have ever been to in the country. The people of Regina couldn't have been more cordial. They couldn't have been more friendly. I mean, I was never nervous to walk up to someone. People just were welcoming. I can't wait to get back to your part of the country.
I don't think it would change now, Bubba, to be honest, if you were to come back, coronavirus aside. But it was one of the biggest regrets of my life was the Memorial Cup started, and I had to leave town for Ryder Camp, I don't know how it was that I had Louis B. down to my restaurant in downtown Regina. I don't know how I didn't have you. But anyways, next time we'll do it. But the thing was, you were tweeting me yesterday about the commissioner, it was last week, about the commissioner and certain things in the CFL. And I'm like, well, let's just bring Bubba into our house and let you say it on the RP show yourself. So your thoughts as we sit in this postponement here, getting close to August.
Well, I'm concerned here, and there's a matter of leadership. And look, this is nothing personal against Randy Ambrosie. I quite like the man. I've sat down and talked to him. He's been at our station. But I feel like during the pandemic and during Major League Baseball, the National Hockey League, even the NFL, NBA, especially Adam Silver, the commissioners of each one of these leagues, even when they weren't sure about their return to play protocols, were very visual. They were on television. They were on radio. Even if there wasn't a lot of information, they were there. I don't know about you. Where's Randy Ambrosie? With the exception of, I think, 2 or 3 statements, and that's another thing that's really peeving me off that I think is just lazy nowadays. People are just saying statements. Face the media. Talk to people like you and I. This way we could get a feeling. We can translate to our listeners and viewers. I've had too many people walk up to me and say, Bubs, what do you think? Is there going to be a CFL season? And I can't really answer them. I mean, everything is pure opinion. And I just feel like if the commissioner would come out, even if there's not a lot to say, he could give us confidence. Isn't that part of the job?
I'm with you, Bubba. I've been saying it forever. And it's not necessarily new. You're saying just during the pandemic. I've said it even before Randy with Orange, like get the guy doing some interviews here because it does instill confidence. He is the face of the league. Now, I did tweet you back this. I'll say it here today. Justin Dunk has said that Ambrosie's remaining quiet while the players deliberate the offer. I thought 3 weeks was way too long for them in the first place to make a decision. It wouldn't have taken that long. But does that answer from Dunk appease you at all?
No, I mean, hey, he's our weekend sportscaster at CHCH, so I'm very familiar with Justin. And I think he agrees with me, quite honestly, that he does need to be more visual. He does need to be more public, because I think that you're the voice of the owners, right? And even if there's talks going on, and yeah, you can't let everyone know about the talks. I mean, wouldn't want that to get into some crazy wild ESPN situation like we had with baseball, where one day felt good and one day didn't feel good. But again, I still think as the commissioner of the league, you're responsible as the voice of the owners to let us know what's going on. Because as it stands right now, boys, I'm not very confident about a season right now. I'm even wondering if it's smart to have a season right now. And I know you guys don't want to hear this, but I'm almost wondering if it's great to sit there and take a year off, restructure this league. Putting aside the pandemic, we've gone through this far too many times about will the CFL survive? Will this team survive? It's time to restructure the league going forward so we don't have so many of these wondering about the league and particular franchises if they'll survive.
I'm with you. I'm just not confident that it will be restructured, because the guys that will be charged with doing that are the guys that are making the big fat wages right now. And why would they want to see that changed? But I'm hard on the owners, Bubba. I've been particular. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I think for the long term, like, come on, let's be honest. Based on the structure of the CFL, the Canadian Football League, no quarterback should be making $700,000. It just doesn't make sense for the long-term stability of the team. You know what? And if Mike Riley and Bo Levi Mitchell feel like there's other places to go, well, go find it, because the second best football league in the world is right here in this country. Because I'll tell you, a guy like Andreas Dueck at McMaster, Chris Merchant at Western, Adam Sinagra at Calgary. You sure they wouldn't be happy making $250 or $300 as a max salary for a quarterback to restructure the league and its finances? So this way the owners are making a little dough, the players are happy, they're playing professional football. This whole model of the Canadian Football League is leading to a disaster. Count it.
Yeah, but I'm with you on the players' salaries, but the executives can't be making more money than the players either. They're not in the other leagues, and they would be under certain proposed models. But as I was saying earlier, I have been hard on the owners. I've been hard on them today. And I feel bad that people would lump Bob Young into that, because Bob isn't one of the guys that I think is the problem. Obviously, he's from Hamilton. He's in your backyard, Bubba. You've obviously had lots of dealings with him. As a matter of fact, when I got into it with Simone Lawrence last season, Bob was defending me because I know him very well. Tell our viewers what Bob Young's all about and what he must be going through here right now with his beloved Ticats not playing.
Well, I'll tell you this, it hurts Bob Young, and that I can say with extreme confidence. He's a fan. I mean, he's not one of these guys that sits in his boardroom or his big, in his big private suite. That guy's out there communicating with the fans, communicating with the players. He sees them as, and that's why he's nicknamed himself the caretaker, because that's the way that's his role. That's the way he sees it. And yeah, he signs off on the checks, and a guy like Scott Mitchell really is sort of the business mind and takes care of a lot of things of the football club and the soccer club. But boy, there can't be any more exuberant owner that I know of in professional sports, a guy that lives and dies with the losses, wears the ball cap, willing to do anything for the club and his players as well, too. So I'm sure not seeing any football up to this point right now has got to be really, really hurting him. But again, I have to look at it in a sense, too, that he's also an owner. He has a vote of the Board of Governors. And again, this needs to be looked at in terms of the way this league is going to be going forward. Maybe the pandemic in some little ways is a blessing in disguise for the Canadian Football League and the way it's going to have to set itself up going forward. Because, I know there's been some strengths and some teams that have done well, but there's also some teams that are hurting. The Toronto Argonauts, is there any hope there? But it's a time to really look at this league and really make it the thing that we all want it to be, and that's a healthy football league going forward.
I'm with you, and I'm hoping that's the case. But it's like, when can we start on the rebuild? Because we're 4 months into this, and we haven't got anywhere. That's the frustrating thing. And by the way, how's life for you in the sports world covering it at CHCH? Are you going to be doing some NFL coverage? I mean, how are you keeping your sportscast filled?
Well, again, we're one of the few sportscasts, or at least stations in the country that actually still have sportscasts built into its newscast. I mean, especially in Ontario, where there's options of just, like a City TV will pick up the feed for a little 5-minute sports pack from Sportsnet, and a lot of the CTV affiliates are doing the same thing for TSN. I'm happy to be at one of the independent stations here in the country where I can still do a traditional sportscast. And I think the city of Hamilton is it's got so much other love for its professional sports, but so much love for its university and a lot of it amateur athletics, I'll say, that we are still able to put together those kind of packages and do those kind of reports. Hey, Justin, as I told you, Justin Dunk does a lot of work for us. The CEBL tournament down the road in St. Catharines, we were able to send him out to do a preview on this tournament. As far as I'm concerned, nowhere in the country did a preview of the CEBL Summer Series tournament. So we're still able to do those kind of things on a local basis as well as a professional basis. And it's been tough because there's not a lot of sports scores during the pandemic. But as we're getting sports back up, it's going to be an avalanche of sports coming our way.
Yeah, no kidding. I've noticed. Hey, I can't let you go without throwing this question at you. Larry Dye, one of our viewers, says, are Hamilton players being paid? And you saw Speedy B put out a tweet a while back that there aren't many owners like Bob Young. And I just took that to mean that Bob might be sliding some cash to his players. I don't know that. That was just my supposition. Do you know anything to that end, Bubba, if that's the case from Bob?
You're right, bang on. Once that tweet came out, I became very, very curious. And I've been pecking and poking very much in a Justin Dunk style, trying to figure this out, because it wouldn't put me past. It wouldn't put past Bob Young to do something like that, because he's that kind of a guy, as I talked about earlier. He has that kind of personality and love for his players. And I've talked to 5 players and I've gotten 5 different answers, and none of them were a yes or no. So that's as much as I know. And I don't know if that was something, if he is, and maybe he's telling people to stay quiet on this, but I haven't sensed a lot of, look at the Montreal Alouettes. On social media, these guys are going hardcore after the CFL. I have not seen that same type of vitriol from players on social media going after these labor talks and saying that we're not happy. So I wish I could give you the proper answer there, guys, but not quite sure.
I think you gave us enough. I think that Bob Young has formed his own version of the CERB. We'll talk about this after just enough to maybe pay their bills, but we'll talk about this after the break, Bubba. But listen, I'm so glad you accepted our invitation to come on. Let's do it again more, my friend, if you don't mind. And thanks for keeping in touch.
Absolutely. It's great to be listening to your viewers, and you're right. I think you talked about this last week. I'm hearing more people in the province of Ontario, especially in our Golden Horseshoe area, Toronto-centric as well, too, that are watching your show right now. So you guys are doing something correct.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Bubba.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Bubba O'Neill out in Hamilton at CHCHTV, and the program is available throughout Ontario on Cogeco Cable and Rogers.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.